prophecies and conspiracies. Peering into darkness is what we do. Derek and Sharon Gilbert break it all down for you.
As the crowds gather at Olympus, welcome to PID Radio. I'm Derek Gilbert.
I am Sharon Gilbert. Welcome to our home, everybody. We are delighted that you've chosen to join us. We've been at this for a long time, not in this living room. We've moved around, but we have been doing this for over 21 years.
Just have to stay one step ahead of them.
Oh, them?
Them.
They're following us. Them?
Yes, they.
They.
Yeah. Those are their pronouns. And we've stated, well,
possibly we.
Yeah. This bunker has moved so many times. But we've been here for 11 years now, so yeah, they know where we are if they want to find us.
We kind of are, yeah.
And they know that we can't run away, so.
They're very slowly getting away.
They're taking their time. Well, if you want to keep up with us, you can download our app. It is available for mobile devices, iOS, Android, Amazon, Kindle Fire, or your smart TV or set-top box, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Google TV, Android TV, all of the TVs. Just go to the App Store for your device and add the Gilbert House Ministries app, and that guarantees we will never get canceled from you.
You may want us to be canceled, but we're not going to get canceled.
We'll put that choice in your hands and not in the hands of some third-party algorithm. Yes. So you'll find that at pidradio.com or gilberthouse.org.com. Bookmark
kind
that
of our
website.
Hub.
That's
We've got a hub.
Yeah. As we slowly expand our burgeoning media empire. In the words of L.A. Marzulli, we're here, we're burgeoning, and we're not going away.
We just recently had a throwback, was it Throwback Thursday or Way Back Wednesday with L.A.?
It was a Way Back Wednesday episode from 2010. And because we've been putting those out, we've been digging into our archives, which go back to 2005, as you know, and releasing episodes or re-releasing episodes from back in the day. And so we had a wonderful episode, Throwback Thursday episode with Doug Hagman from 2007, a PID radio episode from 2007, where Doug was talking about his research into Islamic training ranges. Mm-hmm. And when I say training, they weren't training them to be better Muslims. They were training them in the use of firearms. Mm-hmm. In New York, in Wyoming. Actually, L.A. was the one who talked about this. He said that he had been told about a training center in Wyoming that was raided by local and federal law enforcement. This was back in 2010.
I would like to think if they exist today, that our immigration and
Immigrations and Customs Enforcement
agents would be taking care of that, or would have already taken care of that. Because think about this. One of the stories, and I know you're going to expand on this, was that Mayor Mamdani of New York City released a map of the city, but left out certain boroughs. Yeah,
it was intended to show the melting pot that is New York City by highlighting the immigrant enclaves in New York City. And I'm going to bring up the story here and the map and see if I can find it very quickly. NotTheBee.com featured it not long ago, and I had highlighted it, didn't think we were going to talk about it, so...
Oh, I'm sorry, you mentioned it before we even started, which is why I thought you were going to.
No, I was just... because I thought it was funny. Anyway, the story is basically this, that in this map that was put out there by Mayor Mamdani and his team, featuring all of the immigrant enclaves, Little Somalia and Little Palestine and Little, et cetera and so on. They left out Little Italy, which is a big area of New York City. Italians have been, the Irish community in New York City, which has been
two heavily Catholic communities.
Yeah, and areas that both have had a big impact on the history of New York City. And of course, there are areas of New York City that are heavily Orthodox Jewish, and actually ultra-Orthodox. We would call them Haredim, as opposed to Orthodox Jews like our friends the Lipkins and our tour guides in Israel, there's a difference between Orthodox and ultra-Orthodox. They left them out and included all of these other areas in the city. And some clever commenter said it's awfully considerate of the Mamdani administration to give ICE a map, a target list of where to find illegal migrants in the city.
He, by the way, left out not only Little Italy, but also Little Poland, Little Bangladesh. He highlighted Little Poland, Little Bangladesh, Little 3 Chinatowns, but left out Sri Lanka, Jewish Americans in Brooklyn. I mean, that's a huge part and important part of New York City are the very wonderful Jewish Americans who live there and have contributed so well to that melting pot. And yet, Mamdani left them out. And I find this really interesting, given what you were just discussing about Doug Hagman, that going back to 2007, at least, and this is in the wake of 2001.
2001, yeah.
So just 6 years after 2001, this was going on, and it wasn't a huge secret. I mean, Doug was able to find it out. Doug is an investigator, but he still was able to get in and see what was going on.
Right.
So who was trained there? Are those individuals and cells still active?
Yeah, 20 years later.
And is there a point, where are we going to reach a point where those cells are activated?
Right. Yeah, Doug had talked about this on Steve Quayle's broadcast back in the day. And back in 2007, when I was hosting, 2006 and 7, when I hosted the secular talk show on the radio station Eagle 93.9 in Columbia, Missouri, which was a conservative, still is, conservative talk radio station.
It's a great station.
And in fact, the guy that took my place is still there, and now I can see his face, and I can't think of his name.
Yeah, neither can I.
Oh
sorry.
Gosh, sorry, Gary Nolan, and so he's made a very good career for himself there. He had run as a libertarian candidate for president prior to being hired there.
I remember that, yes.
Yeah. But Doug was a regular. He had a regular weekly slot on my program, as he was heading up what he called the Northeast Intelligence Network there, which was essentially open source intel, because as a private citizen, he was not working with local or federal law enforcement, although as a private investigator, he had contacts in agencies. But he located that facility in New York that was called Islamberg. And I recall very clearly him describing the fact that they had a school bus on that property that they were using for training how to basically hijack a school bus and hold a school bus full of children hostage, or commit a mass casualty event. This is the kind of thing that keeps counterterrorism officials here in the United States awake at night, because we've got thousands of soft targets here in the United States. Schools and churches where firearms are not allowed on the premises. And, of course, that works as long as people obey the little sign that says, no firearms allowed on the premises. If you've got somebody who's inclined to break the law, well, that's...
Except you and I know a couple of pastors who do keep firearms on their premises.
Oh, yeah. I know one who's got an armored pulpit with a flip-top, basically a spring-loaded top on it, so that if he hits a button, the top pops up, which provides him extra steel-plated protection from whoever, and then he's got an AR-15 inside the pulpit. I'm not going to say who it is or where he's located, but I've seen it in action and taken pictures of it, not in an actual setting, but he demonstrated how the spring-loaded action works. And it's like, he offered to share the plans for it because
with,
one of the
with
members
some of our friends, yeah.
with any other pastors who are interested in it. But essentially, it used a 3/8 inch A36 steel plate, and it's brilliant. Somebody comes into the church waving a firearm, and within like 2 seconds, the pastor's got himself a place of protection from which to return fire and neutralize the threat.
He also had a team.
also had a team, right, of security personnel stationed at the entrances and around the congregation.
And by the way, if you're wondering, Skywatch TV also has a team.
Yeah.
So don't mess with us.
Yes, exactly. When things are being recorded, there is protection involved.
Even the ladies
yeah.
have been trained.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When you were in Colombia, you also, I don't know that she was on Weekly, Laura Mansfield,
Yes.
who wrote a book about her journey out of Islam. She had been, I think she married a Muslim. Was that it?
And
then
had
was
to
sort
get out
of
of it.
tricked into becoming a Muslim.
Yeah, and then discovered that it wasn't the exotic lifestyle that she thought it was.
You're love bombed.
Yeah, sadly, a lot of Western women find Middle Eastern men, especially, they can be very handsome, and they can be very persuasive. And you're right, they use that tactic to love bomb them. And there was a sad story that thankfully Laura's didn't work out this way. She was able to escape.
And by the way, if you are interested in her story, her book is called Inshallah, which means God willing.
Yeah. A very popular Irish woman who was an influencer was brought into a relationship like this by a migrant who love bombed her to the point where she, fell in love, married him, and sadly did not survive long in that relationship because once they were married, she became his property, and he got physical, extremely physical.
And she lost her life.
She lost her life. So this is, there's a fundamental difference between Muslims and the rest of the world. And it is a spiritual thing. Sadly, it is playing out here in the West, and we're seeing a repeat here in the United States, not just on the personal level in terms of relationships, but politically. I mean, Islam is a political system that is wrapped in religion, and thus it is able to use our First Amendment constitutional protections of the freedom to practice religion to protect itself from law enforcement stepping in and saying, you can't do this here because you are openly calling for the overthrow of this government. You are openly calling for the overthrow of Western civilization at large. In Islam, there is no separation of church and state. The church is the state. That is it. While we met some very wonderful Muslim people on our trips into Jordan, and we'll tell you how you can join us in Jordan next November. It would be 2027. That is.
Yeah, we leave October
24th.
24th. That's right. We leave for Israel.
Yes.
The tour starts on October 24th, but the extension is into Jordan.
Right. Many of those that we met, especially the tour guides and the tourist police, the bus drivers, they're more moderate, almost secular. They follow, the form of the religion without the fundamentalist commands to spread Islam at the point of a sword, which is how Muhammad taught it in the 7th century.
We were always welcomed, treated very well.
Oh, extremely well.
Extremely well. The one Downside is sometimes the Bedouin children, especially, who are trying to sell you things. But,
Yeah.
Look, that's a minor. Those are like flies, at a picnic.
Yeah.
Overall, the country is so welcoming.
But that is not how it's practiced by many, and it may be a minority of Muslims, but the fundamentalists have terrorized their fellow religionists, their co-religionists, into going along with the program, basically. And the program is to take over the Western world. They've been trying to do it since the year 632 AD, when Muhammad died. Within 5 years, they'd conquered the Holy Land, and most of the early centers of Christendom, Jerusalem, Alexandria, Antioch, Damascus, basically the early centers where the first Jewish converts, the disciples, took the gospel, within 5 years had been overrun. And within 100 years, Islam had overrun all of North Africa, all of the Middle East, half of Turkey, all of Spain, and they were halfway across France before Charles Martel turned them back at the Battle of Tours in the year 732. If it hadn't been for Charles Martel, our German and English ancestors would likely have been speaking Arabic. And you'd have heard the call for prayer 5 times a day coming from the tops of the obelisk at St. Peter's Square in Rome.
Yes, every church would have been either destroyed or turned into a mosque.
Yeah. And we're seeing this now in the 21st century. And because it's happening, when we read history, there's a bit of time compression because you read about centuries in the span of a few pages. And we don't get the sense of how slowly things appear to be happening on a day-by-day basis. So when we look around at what's happening today, and this is what brought the interview with Doug to mind. I'm glad that you brought up the we brought up the way back Wednesdays and throwback Thursdays. That we were talking about this 20 years ago with L.A. Marzulli and with Doug Hagman and with others.
Laura Mansfield and many others, yes.
The program hasn't stopped. In fact, it has accelerated over the last 20 years. We saw the flood of Islamic migrants into Europe really begin in 2011 with the Syrian civil war, and the same here. And now you've got imams in Texas, Florida, New York, openly calling for the overthrow of Western civilization. Whereas 20 years ago, Doug was saying, well, they're doing this in secret. They're training at this place called Islamburg.
That's just, no, they don't mean that.
Yeah. But yes, they actually did.
They did, yeah.
And again, L.A. talking about a law enforcement person saying that in the middle of, Wyoming, there was this training center that was raided by law enforcement. The election of Zohran Mamdani in New York City, I think a lot of political commentators are focusing on his economic agenda. He's promising all this free stuff. Oh, he's a communist. Well, yeah, sort of, but he's wearing communism as a skin suit at the moment. The ultimate agenda, if we draw on the lessons of recent history, the Islamic Revolution in the late 70s in Iran, the intellectuals and the Marxists in Iran thought that they had found common cause with the Muslims to take down the oppressive regime of the Shah. And to be fair, the Shah did use his secret police to repress any dissent pretty violently. And so it's not that they didn't have grievances. It's that the communists, the Marxists, thought they had found new best friends in the Islamists, not realizing that as soon as they took down the Shah and got the Shah to flee the country, that they were the first ones against the wall. The intellectuals were the first ones eliminated by the Islamists.
It is almost always that way when a dictator takes over control of a country. They are used to put him into place, and then because they are now dangerous, they are opinionated and intellectuals.
Well, we kind of saw this in the 30s with in Germany with Ernst Röhm and his brown shirts being the first ones against the wall after they were no longer useful. The difference between the communists and the Islamists is that the Islamists have a network already set up or organized around the mosques, and they've got their social structures that they have offered out. They've got help for families. It's the same way watching the Godfather movie.
Oh, if you ever want to understand politics, there are two films, the Godfather trilogy.
Yes.
But also House of Cards. House of Cards. The British one.
Yeah. And ancient Rome is another example where the Roman Republic was basically twisted out of its original design by the patricians who learned that they could gain political power by doling out favors. And of course, that basically is the model on which the mafia is based, doling out favors. Godfather, if I could, my daughter.
But there's always a payment at the end.
And that someday, and that day may never come, when I ask you for a favor, you must do it for me without asking questions. So this is how the power networks are built. Same is true with Islamists, except that they layer religion on top of it. They believe that, you do this thing, and if you die while you're trying to do it, well, you get 72 big-bosomed virgins for eternity. The Islamic version of heaven is essentially a brothel.
Yes.
Which, for lusty young men who can wield a sword, that's a pretty sweet deal. Hey, great. If I don't die, I get to steal all the stuff from the camel caravan and take all the women. And if I do die, well, even better. So that's what's happening here in the United States. Communism is the means of entry by getting young people who have economic grievances to vote for them. But once they reach a certain tipping point, the float, the cover of the float comes off and the tanks come out.
Yeah, like on May Day.
Yeah.
I want to mention that back in April of this year, former President Barack Obama sat down with Mamdani and they read books to a pre-K group of young children and sang The Wheels on the Bus.
Okay.
This was to inaugurate a free childcare program expansion everything is allegedly free. There is no free lunch, just so you know. This is allegedly a morale boost for young families that they can now trust their children, and it won't cost them a dime, to the state, as in the leaders, not the state of New York, but the state, capital S. The idea that Obama did this very public event with Mamdani was an endorsement of the new empty suit, I would say. Mamdani is just a puppet.
Yeah.
He's good looking, he's well spoken, he's likable, so he can push these things. The fact that this is an education, a young pre-K program, think madrasas.
Yeah.
Except under the guise of the float. The tank's underneath of it, but it's going to look like a really great free float.
Yeah. Oh, look at and all the flowers on it.
Look at the happy kids. Look at the wheels on that bus.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Tank treads. By the way, we're making reference to an old episode of The Simpsons.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
Yeah. Where, May Day, look, the Russians are all peaceful and it's a May Day. It's actually a parade, and suddenly the float, the cover rips apart and all these tanks come rolling out.
The fact is that Russia on May Day very proudly runs their tanks through town.
Yes, yeah. Speaking of Mamdani, and I think by the way, I would argue that the more interesting thing to know about that event with Obama is what Obama and Mamdani talked about away from the cameras.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there are those who believe that President Obama, not himself, but the money that put Obama into office, that machine is now behind Mamdani.
Yeah. Yeah, he is beginning to look like Obama 2.0. And people may forget that Obama was only in the Senate for 2 years. He really had no track record whatsoever.
Right.
He'd been a state senator in Illinois prior to becoming the United States senator from Illinois. 2 years, and suddenly he's president of the United States.
Yeah.
He had no business being in the Oval Office.
All part of the so-called DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America.
Yeah.
Boy, that sure sounds very similar to a 1930s organization in Germany.
Yeah, National Socialists. Yeah. Well, emphasis on the socialists. They are openly calling for the overthrow of the United States.
Yes.
But
isn't that
again,
treason?
one, they don't. Yeah, it actually is. But, well, freedom of speech, and because you got prominent DSA members like Mamdani, like one of the candidates that he backed for the state assembly in New York, who is a Muslim, who was seen at a rally waving one of the Hamas do-rags. It's the DSA doesn't realize that it's being used. They think they're using the Democratic Party to introduce communism into the United States, but the DSA is being used by Muslims, just like the Greens in the UK are being used to get political power. And just as in Lebanon, when what was predominantly a Christian country with a lot of Shia Muslims in the country, and Christian and Sunni, and they began welcoming in more and more Muslims. And once Islam hit a certain percentage of the population, suddenly the Christians were kicked to the side, and it became no longer the what they called the Paris. Beirut was no longer the Paris of the Middle East. It was.
It did used to be beautiful.
Yeah. There are a lot of Lebanese in the United States, Maronite Christian, which is a flavor of Roman Catholicism, who emigrated about a century ago from Lebanon into the United States because of civil wars that were taking place between the Maronite Christians, the Ottoman Turks, who are Sunni Muslim. The Maronites lived mainly in the mountains, so they were somewhat protected from the Ottoman armies. But when things just really got too difficult there in Lebanon, many of them emigrated to the United States. And you got Lebanese enclaves in Detroit. Peoria, Illinois has a big Lebanese enclave there. Mayor Jim Malouf, famous for back in the 80s, 70s and 80s, owned a big car dealership there and used to sing in his television commercials. Good voice, oh, Danny boy.
Seems like an odd thing for,
Yeah, for a
Lebanese gentleman to be singing.
But
the DSA is being used.
DSA is being used by Islam to introduce Islam into the United States. That's the ultimate goal.
May I suggest something that connects to a story that just came out yesterday, and that is that President Trump has said he has received intel recently, but also for some time, that Iran would like to see him removed from office with great speed.
Extreme prejudice
and with great speed.
Yeah.
The threat to President Trump's life is real. But here's what's interesting about this. And suddenly we're into Dr. Strangelove territory. If you've ever seen the film, it's a really interesting take on what goes on in decision making
Yeah.
when the United States is threatened. President Trump has left what is essentially a dead man switch.
Yeah.
If he were to be assassinated, he has left orders, specific plans to erase Iran from the map.
Yeah. Said bomb them to a level they've never been bombed before.
And by this he means the leadership and their capability to continue doing what they are doing. He really loves the people of Iran. He despises the leadership.
Right, and rightly so.
And the IRGC.
Yeah. The interesting thing, of course, and this was pointed out by a commentator that we've mentioned before, Jesus Enrique Rosas, that the problem with this is that as soon as if Trump were to pass on one way or another, that J.D. Vance would become the president within the hour. And then whatever instructions Trump left would have no effect because they would have to be approved by the new president.
Well, it's difficult to say whether or not, here's the reason I say that, is if you're going to cut the head off the snake, and this is from the Iranian point of view, they would see the great Satan, the United States, as a snake. And so Trump would be the head of that great Satan snake. I don't see him that way. I like Trump. Then you would also need to remove anyone else who might follow in his footsteps and follow those orders. Because Trump has made, unlike in Dr. Strangelove, where no one was told about the dead man switch, Trump is making sure everyone knows about the dead man switch. I think Rubio would do it.
I think he would too.
I'm not sure about J.D. Vance. He seems like a really nice guy that wants everybody to get along. That's not a bad way to think about the world, but sadly, there are an awful lot of really bad people in this world.
It's not a realistic way to...
It's not a realistic way to look at Iran, not at the IRGC. And that instability in the Middle East that would follow the loss of our president would be such chaos, which would allow chaos not only in the Middle East, chaos in the whole world.
Yeah.
Think about, if you're my age, think about the surprise when JFK was suddenly gone.
Yeah. And the question is this just the first of many attacks? I mean, the same thing happened on 9/11. You know, who are they going after next? Are there other targets that might be, you know, in the line of fire? How do we respond?
There were
to
so
this?
many weird things after that. Do you remember the anthrax
Yes, right, yeah.
attacks? And then all of these envelopes with white powder in them that were arriving at various mailboxes?
Yeah, yeah.
And people became really paranoid about mystery letters that arrived that didn't have... And there were some ordinary people who received mystery letters. My sister got one. Brenda.
Really?
She got one, and it was just baby powder. But apparently, just random people were sent all sorts of letters that primarily contained talc, baby powder, something like that, because finely milled anthrax just looks like powder.
Yeah.
And remember Senator, oh gosh, I can see him. He was it was called the Hammer, was his nickname.
Oh, no, it was a representative from Texas.
Oh, okay, sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong, because the Hammer was a senator. But it was someone from Texas, yes, who did receive, and they tested it, and there was anthrax in it.
Well, I think it was a senator, but I remember
Tom
DeLay.
Tom DeLay.
Representative Tom DeLay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, a lot of strange things that happened around those events.
All forgotten it.
Right. So if the president were to be removed, and some means other than natural causes, it would lead to a period of
shock,
shock and confusion until the NSA, CIA, DHS, Secret Service could determine exactly what was going on. But the point that Jesus made, which is, I think, insightful, is that if you're going to present a deterrent, you have to make it public. So whether the deterrent is plausible or not, again, you can leave instructions in a drawer, but once the new president is sworn in, the old instructions no longer have any weight.
True.
But the fact that you made it public now means that that's something the IRGC leadership has to consider. Well, they've hit us pretty hard already. And if he's saying that they can do it even harder, maybe we better think twice before going ahead with this plan.
Well, the question also is, yes, there would be someone else in the Oval Office, but Pete Hegseth, if he were given orders that no matter what, you immediately do the following, I think he'd do it.
Yeah. And, this raises an interesting question about artificial intelligence. If then, scenarios. If this, then that.
What? Yeah.
And what if the AI then decides that the if has been met even though it actually hasn't been met? Just, we would solve all of these problems if we just eliminated all these pesky humans. Speaking of Iran and the situation, the alleged plot against the president's life coming from Iran, and by the way, the Israelis providing the intelligence on that led to this going public.
Yes.
The top official in Mayor Mamdani's Office for International Affairs made plans to meet with Iran's ambassador to the UN.
What?
Yeah, this was supposed to take place on, Wednesday of this past week at 11 a.m. This is according to screenshots of a calendar invitation reviewed by the publication, the online publication City Journal, and confirmed by a source connected to the international affairs community and another familiar with the commissioner's office, Ana Maria Archila, A-R-C-H-I-L-A. Archila?
A-R-C-H-I-L-A? Archila?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably Archila.
Yeah, Archila. Anyway, someone familiar with her office, and then another official within the State Department also confirmed awareness of this. The State Department was notified and stepped in and notified Mayor Mamdani's office that, no, this is not going to happen. The State Department had not been informed ahead of time.
Oh.
The meeting was scheduled by the Mamdani administration's Office of International Affairs. And the State Department met with the Mamdani administration to clarify acceptable conduct.
Now, it's not unusual for the mayor of New York City or even Chicago, large cities, to meet with international figures, even to travel, because it's part of bringing in business, international business for their city.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to meet with an Iranian ambassador.
No, not in the middle of a conflict, especially after President Trump had said, hey, the ceasefire is over as far as I'm concerned. It is done. Now, apparently, City Journal confirmed that Commissioner Archila did not inform Mayor Mamdani of the meeting. She was doing this on her own accord. And she was reportedly reprimanded for the move and directed to cancel the meeting. So the mayor...
Isn't that interesting?
The mayor was apparently caught off guard by this. Or at least that's the story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll throw you under the bus if we get caught. The meeting will not take place, spokesperson for the mayor's office for international affairs said in a statement. But apparently the city has been using public resources to try to engage in its own foreign policy. The mayor's office for international affairs saw a message, or the city journal saw a message sent to staff within the mayor's office for international affairs, asking them to prioritize diplomatic engagement in part based on whether foreign officials, quote, are in political alignment / leftist. And this particular commissioner has, quote, focused on deepening relations with foreign leaders who share Mamdani's worldview, close quote.
You know what's interesting about, I'm looking at the article at City Journal, and this was observed on this calendar part of the agenda on April 16th. That's the very day that Obama was meeting and reading and singing to pre-K children with Mayor Mamdani. Now, what is it about April 16th? Strange.
Good question.
Coincidence.
Yeah, you would think that this office, as with other large cities, would want to have a group within the city government that was tasked with trying to bring foreign business to that city, or to, just network with other cities. Hey, London, how do you deal with your traffic issues?
Exactly.
Things like that. Not to try to shape foreign policy.
Apparently, Aquila has no prior diplomatic experience. How did she get that job?
That is a really good question. Well, she had an exhaustive career in activism.
Oh, I see. The same way former President Obama was,
he was a
community organizer.
Community organizer. That's it. So that qualifies her to start setting up meetings with the.
She's lucky she was not
bounced
arrested.
Out. Well, yeah, fired, if not arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because that is considered. Let's see. It could even be considered. What is the word? Something with the enemy. Consorting with the enemy.
Consorting, giving aid and comfort.
I think it would be consorting with the enemy.
Yeah, yeah. Although there's not an official declaration of war, so that might give her some legal cover. But still, the idea that you're doing this is just really... Yeah. It's just a bad move.
Now, before we get too far into these weeds, I need to explain something totally unrelated to this topic.
Okay.
You opened with a hint at something going on in Greece.
Oh, yes, we do need to talk about that.
We need to explain that.
Right.
We'd love to go to Greece, so we're fine. I would love to see the ruins there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what's going on in Greece?
And examine the tapestries. Oh, wait, that's...
That's Scotland.
That's, yeah. Or
Achoo.
Germany, yeah.
It's Scotland. He goes up to... Oh, no, it was Germany. He was pretending to be Scottish.
Pretending to be Scottish.
That's right.
But, yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Right. No, worshippers of the old Greek gods have gathered at Mount Olympus and are there as we speak, I think, for the final day of the 4-day Promethea festival. Women dressed in white advance with burning torches, singing hymns to Zeus. And, of course, Mount Olympus being the home of the 12 great gods of Greece. So they are gathering there, and it's called the Promethea because fire remembers the story of the Titan Prometheus, who stole the fire of the gods and was going to bring it to humanity because we were shivering it in the dark. And he got caught.
It's sort of like...
Azazel.
Azazel, yes,
in the book
exactly.
of 1 Enoch, right, teaching us things we weren't supposed to know.
A lot of people forget about Prometheus' brother, Epimetheus.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, he had a brother. They were both sons of Zeus. And He is the
Kronos. Or Uranus. I mean, if they were Titans.
No, sorry. No, they're not sons of. They're not. They are sons of the Titan Iapetus.
Okay.
Zeus tasked them with populating the newly formed earth, and Epimetheus eagerly took the lead. He distributed attributes like speed, wings, claws, and fur to the animals, and by the time he reached humankind, he was exhausted.
Oh.
Humans were left completely defenseless, and to save humanity, Prometheus stole fire from the gods. Epimetheus, that's probably why he gets forgotten.
Yeah.
Because he forgot humans.
Jerk.
That's why we don't have any claws.
I guess.
not
Or
usually.
wings.
Yeah.
Or sharp talons. And Prometheus, of course, the story was he was chained to a rock in Tartarus where an eagle would eat his liver, which would then miraculously grow back the next day, so the eagle would have more on which to feast.
Yeah.
Pretty
Pretty
nasty.
bleak.
Yeah. In the book of First Enoch, Azazel, after teaching us things we weren't supposed to know, was buried in the wilderness of Dudael on top of a bunch of sharp rocks.
Yeah, that or under a bunch of sharp rocks. I've seen both. But either way,
on top of,
he got a special judgment.
He did. And I argued in, I think, Second Coming of Saturn, that the parallels there in the stories are similar enough to suggest that the Greek story comes from the older, Hebrew version of the story. But Greek religion comes from Mesopotamia anyway. I mean, it's pretty clear when you see the parallels between the story of Kumarbi castrating the sky god Anu, similar to Kronos castrating Uranus, and then eventually losing his throne to his son, the storm god, and then being banished to the netherworld. And the Hurrian version of that story, the oldest version of the story, clearly the older version, the Greek, came from that version, as much as scholars in the 19th and early 20th centuries didn't want to admit, Greco-Roman religion actually comes from the Semites of the Middle East.
But, by the way, getting back to their dad, Epimetheus and Prometheus. Allegedly.
What happened to Retrometheus?
I don't know. Good question.
Yeah.
Iapetus is allegedly, and I say allegedly because I just don't really buy this, linked to Japheth.
Yeah.
No, this is not when you do that, you enter a world where mythology is just a way of explaining the natural world. No, there were actually titans on this earth, and they're now under the earth in Tartarus somewhere.
Right, and not coincidentally, the sons of God from Genesis 6, who were the angels who sinned of 2 Peter chapter 2, as Peter wrote, were thrust down to Tartarus. It says hell in our English Bibles, but the Greek word is Tartarosis, meaning thrust down to Tartarus. And as Dr. Michael Heiser said, if it's in the Bible and it's weird, and that is the only place in the New Testament where that word Tartarus is used, it's probably important. So the sons of God of Genesis 6 are the titans of Greek mythology.
Amen. And you make a really good case that there's archaeology to back that up. How are we doing on time?
We're at about 50 minutes.
Oh, well, got a little time if I can just mention this story that comes from Peru. Peru is a really interesting country in South America, of course. Well, archaeologists leading a team in Peru have discovered 43, not 42, that's the answer to life, the universe, and everything, 43 objects made from wood and bone. They're about 3,800 years old, and they were placed where they'd been found in a small area that's edged with a semicircle of rounded stones. In other words, this is a collection that may have been a worship place. They are sculptures of a woman and some other possible authority figures, the article says. Birds, snakes, tadpoles, geometric and abstract motifs. But here's what's interesting. They have cavities in them that probably held inlays of minerals and semi-precious stones, because some of those were found along with beads made of blue-green minerals and shells. So you have talked about the skulls that have given shells for eyes in ancestor worship in the Middle East.
Yeah, the Jericho skulls.
The Jericho skulls. Well, these are really interesting. In fact, one of them looks a bit like Tin Man. Well, I'll put a link.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, Derek will put a link to this story, but these images are most likely for worship. If you want to say ancestor worship, which a lot of these archaeologists will say this is part of the ancestor worship cult, but they're not truly ancestors that are communing with these individuals. These are demons, the spirits of the giants, created by the Nephilim, created by the Titans, mating with human women. And these demons are liars. And they say, no, I'm your uncle so-and-so, or great aunt so-and-so, or I'm grandpa. And I will give you power if you will worship me. And this is, you have to create a thing to worship me. And if you don't, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to haunt you.
Yeah, and that's a story that we hear from all over the world. I mean, we talked to Reverend Dr. Robert Bennett about that more than 10 years ago with his book.
I Am Not Afraid.
Yes, I Am Not Afraid. And how the ancestors, quote unquote, ancestors, would torment the people of Madagascar if they didn't take them out of their burial tombs, which were essentially homes.
Much nicer homes than the families lived in.
Right. Take them out to rewrap the bodies, dance with them, and then, replace them. And the spirits would, in fact, these demonic spirits would, in fact, attack people and cause them to self-harm. So, yeah, it's not surprising to see this on this side of the ocean, but interesting that it dates back to the time of the patriarchs. They're 3,800 years ago. That's right in the middle of the period of time occupied by Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
I think it indicates that this idea is universal, it's worldwide, and therefore those people who were engaging with the Titans pre-flood, that either there were monuments left that made it clear that this practice had to continue, or the demons themselves were just trying to get human beings to continue the engagement with their daddies post-flood.
Yeah, the ones who died during the flood came back and started whispering in the ears of the survivors and the descendants of the survivors.
And it was a worldwide flood, so that they would be engaging with humans worldwide.
Yeah, in fact, that's one of the things I'm going to talk about in my presentations for the upcoming conferences. And we're about at that time we can start wrapping.
Plus
the OG report.
The OG report and an announcement.
Oh, yes. So, well, we'll talk about the conferences, and I'll discuss a little bit about my presentation for Ohio and how this relates to that story from Peru and the appeasement of the ancestors. Where are we going first? The OG report?
Well, since you already brought up the conferences, go ahead and speak
talk about those.
Yeah.
Okay. The people who emigrated to the Holy Land from the Ararat Plain which is the area below where Noah's Ark came to rest. A group scholars call the Trans-Caucasian culture, or the Kura-Araxes civilization, and I'm probably mispronouncing the name of those rivers, but those are the rivers that run on either side of the Caucasus Mountains. They became known as the Hurrians, who occupied sort of the northern arc of Mesopotamia, the Kurdish regions of Iraq and Turkey today. But they immigrated south and were in the vicinity of the Sea of Galilee by about 2350 BC or thereabouts. There's a site that we visited on our last tour there. We couldn't really see the ruins. There's not much to see. But a site there called Tel Bet Yarach, which means Temple of the Moon God. And the Proto-Hurrians were there by about 2350 BC, give or take. And that's about 500 years before the time of Abraham. But they brought with them the practice of summoning spirits from the netherworld through the use of a ritual pit, where they would dig a pit in the ground, sacrifice a small animal like a piglet or a puppy or a lamb, and then they would summon the spirits from the underground. Well, okay, where did they get the idea that they had to summon them from the netherworld? I mean, why are they there instead of flying around in the sky? If they're, the good guys, aren't they coming from heaven? Well, that's not what the Hurrians did. They brought them up from the underworld. And that practice continued for another, 1,300 years, down to the time of Saul, David, because Saul, when he visited the medium of Endor, she summoned the spirit of Samuel from a ritual pit. The word, I'm getting too deep into the weeds. Bottom line is, this is the connection to the this practice of summoning the spirits of ancestors, summoning necromantic rituals and so forth. So I will talk about that migration from the Ararat Plain to the land of Canaan, because I believe that's part of the long supernatural war for the people in the land of Israel. These spirits wanted to get to this area, understanding for some, they had some knowledge that this was going to be special to God. I mean, why did they descend on Mount Hermon? It's not even one of the 100 tallest mountains on planet Earth. Mm-hmm. Why there?
Well, it's the tallest in that whole area.
Yeah, but why that area?
Why that area? Well, if Eden was in Jerusalem, which is what many of us believe, then yes, bingo.
Right. So anyway, that'll be part of the presentation, and then we'll get down to the time of Jesus and his battle with the giants, because yes, Jesus did literally battle the giants.
He did.
So the conferences coming up will be in Ohio. We've got the July 24th and 25th conference. Go therefore. Go therefore conference, or just gotherefore.com. Gotherefore.conference.com.
Okay. Gotherefore.conference.com.
Right.
You will put a link to that in the notes at YouTube. Can you do that?
Well, we've got it at our website. But
okay, just go to gilberthouse.org and go to the calendar.
Yeah.
That's easiest.
Right. So, or if you've got our app, just look under the calendar section, look for upcoming events, and it is all there, including a link to the website for registration, a map so you can find the Harvest Revival Center, the location of the event, and a list of speakers, all that. And if you can't be there in person, then sign up for streaming video, because the streaming video production values of the team at Harvest Revival Center are just excellent. And 2 weeks after that, you will be speaking as well.
I will be.
Yes. So put you on.
Werewolves of London.
Yes. What's that about?
Oh, I can't reveal that. Spoilers. It's a story. Once upon a time. But it's all based on truth.
And mine will be based on the Just 5 Things video series that I'm putting out. Just 5 things you need to know, or that you should know, about the War of the Watchers.
Can you do that in, what do you have, 45 minutes, 60 minutes?
Absolutely not.
I may have to yield my time, the balance of my time, to the gentleman from my house.
I'll set my speaking speed at 1.5. So we'll do my best to get through it. It essentially will be just, again, bullet points similar to the conference or the talk in Ohio, but I will make them different enough so that you'll have to get the streaming video for both conferences if you want to find out everything.
We're going to have to put, like flames on your transport chair and on your cane. That's what our daughter Nicole said that he needs. He needs flames on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Put flame. Actually, you need to shave flames into my beard.
Oh,
that would work too. Maybe the side of my head.
There you go.
Yeah,
you'll look a little bit.
He's not moving very fast, but he sure looks like he's going.
Is he Mercury? Oh no, that's wings, not flames.
And you can save $20 per in-person registration for the Hear the Watchman conference. It's called Remnant Rising 2.0, and that's August 7th through 9th at the in Springfield, Missouri, the Oasis Hotel and Conference Center. If you're going to be there in person, again, use promo code Gilbert20, Gilbert20, and that saves you $20 off each in-person registration. But if you can't be there in person, again, streaming video is available, but we encourage you to sign up early because once the event starts, August 7th, the price will go up from $59 to $79.
Yeah.
So, because everybody's going to be really, really busy doing stuff, and so, it'll be a little harder for people to get the time away and devote to getting people signed up and access to those videos while the conference is already underway.
And by the way, because Springfield is so close to where we live, it's only about an hour away, we're going to drive instead of fly, and so we're going to drive a whole bunch of product up there, put some product in our friend Lynn's car, she'll take it, and at our book table, we're going to have deep discounts on stuff.
Yeah.
So if you have always wanted a DVD or a book or a T-shirt, you get to save a whole bunch of money.
Right, yeah. We just need to basically declutter, and that's one of the ways that we're going to do it.
And that gets to the announcement. As many of you are aware, we have had our house for sale. We've had a lot of interest in it, and we've had a couple of opportunities that didn't pan out for various reasons. Derek and I, after much prayer, have made the decision to stay put. We have taken the house off the market. I took the sign down this morning per our real estate agent, who is a good friend of ours, and told her if we ever decide in the future at some point, probably our next move will be to Indiana.
Yeah, and she'll be the only call that we make. So we're happy with her. There's nothing that she could have done any differently. It's been kind of a weird market where we're seeing a lot of things moving in the more urban areas. But out here in the country, things have been kind of slow.
Yeah, she was telling us that there for a long time, things were just really hot around this area because a lot of folks were moving in from other states. And many of those individuals had some money and were kind of shocked that for $1 million, which would buy them a tiny house in LA, would buy them a massive house and a whole lot of acreage in this area.
Yeah, when I was selling real estate in St. Louis 35 years ago, I saw that the May Company relocated, and it's the owners of Famous Bar and a number of other department stores. They relocated from New York to St. Louis, which for some of the folks in the East Coast, that was like, they came in with they were a little...
I know. They had preconceptions
about what St. Louis was like. But some of them were very happy because they had a rather modest home out there and wanted to know how much, say, $400,000 would buy. I said, well, how many acres do you want with that? Like, what? Would you like servants' quarters? Because at the time, St. Louis was a very affordable place to live.
That is true.
Now, things have changed a lot since then. Things have changed here in the Ozarks since we moved here.
They have. But we're going to stay put, and I'm very happy about that. It's been, I haven't really talked about this much online. I've hinted at it in a couple of my posts on Substack, that we have to keep the house in condition that anybody coming by at the last minute can come
Right,
in and
right.
take a look at it. So I've been spending a lot of my time weeding the yard and cleaning the yard and making sure that everything is spick and span in the house at any moment. You know what it's like, ladies or men. If you're the one who is in charge of certain chores in your household and you know you have to keep it done all the time, there are days that you just don't want to do it. Days you would like to be writing a book. Anyway, it's kept me from being able to do a lot of work on book 9 and, making sure that everything is safe for you. And now we've got cats that I have to take care of. Portia the cat is still here. By the way, did you know, getting back to what we were talking about, ghosts and things, I was watching a video on tortoiseshell cats. Portia the cat, who had kittens underneath our porch, hence her name Portia, is tortoiseshell. She's a rare type of tortoiseshell where everything is split down the middle. She's got the most beautiful face. I'm shocked that anybody dumped her because she's a beautiful cat. Well, there is a legend that tortoiseshell cats can see ghosts and will protect you from them. Now, I've not seen one ghost in our yard since she's been here. Now, I didn't see anything before, but that you never know.
Well, we are joking, of course.
I am joking, yeah, but that seriously, there is a legend.
Yeah.
And in Ireland, tortoiseshell cats are thought to be good luck and will bring you money. So far, she's not brought any money to the door. She's always there when I go to the door, and not once has she brought us any money.
Not even a mouse.
Well.
We did see the one that they were playing with the one day.
Oh, I know. She does go out mousing. She's a really good mouser and a really good mom. So the 3 kittens are, I'm guessing they're about 10 weeks old now, 9 or 10 weeks old.
Yeah.
We make sure that they are taken care of. She drinks kitten formula along with them. I just make a big bowl of kitten formula once or twice a day, and because she needs it too. She needs all the nutrition that's in that kitten formula. And they're on solid food now.
Yeah, but just so you know, when Sharon says we're taking care of cats now, they are outside.
Yeah, no, because
inside.
Derek is highly allergic.
Yeah.
He's got compromised lungs already.
COPD. Right?
Yeah, and the bottom lobes of both lungs, they're sort of
partially collapsed.
They've checked out.
Yeah.
So no, I will not bring cats into the house. I like cats, but we can't have them in the house. Not only for that, but Portia especially. She likes to weave in and out of my legs. You know how it is if you've got a cat.
Right.
That's the last thing you need is having a cat trying to be around your feet while you're trying to walk.
Yeah, especially with a cane.
Yeah, I know folks
and
when they see you online doing just 5 things, you look muscular because you have upper body. You do a lot of exercises to keep your upper body, so you can use your cane and keep your balance. But from the knees down, essentially, you're paralyzed, and your hands have gotten to the point where they're also giving you trouble.
Yeah.
So if all you see are Derek from the shoulders up, he looks pretty good, but you struggle.
I mean, that's the irony is, with the things going on with my hands, I've got more upper body strength than I've ever had in my life. I just can't do anything with it.
Well, I think you're cute as a button. I just
that's
do.
all that matters.
You are. I love you so much, honey. And God is really good. He has blessed us so much. And you guys listening, you have blessed us through your prayers, through your fellowship, through the notes you send us, through the encouraging cards. We get a lot of encouraging cards from you guys. And many of you are kind enough to even enclose gifts. Or recently I received, and I apologize, I cannot remember the name of the sweet lady who sent them, but they are crocheted doilies that are about the size, they're about 5 inches across. She has no idea that I love doilies. I love old-fashioned stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was delighted with that gift. Thank you so very much. And you were kind enough to give us a little bit of, financial aid as well, and many of you do. And you guys built that barn better.
Yeah.
And we're so happy that we have decided to stay here. And we really I feel like there's a weight lifted off my shoulders that we've decided to stay here because I love this property. And now that you are going to be getting your IVIG treatments, then I think the Lord's going to make you stronger, and we're going to be back in that barn recording programs.
Well, that is our prayer. And that is the OG report. The IVIG, intravenous immunoglobulin treatments, will begin in 9 days. On the
20th, which July 20th is the day you and I communicated for the very first time.
First
you
email.
Sent me that first email. July 20th of 1997.
Yep. So that will begin the adventure. This involves about 4 hours a day, 2 consecutive days, and this will be every 3 weeks going forward for the foreseeable future. I've been approved for a year's worth by the insurance company. Now, before we get to a year, I'll be, I'm sure, switching insurance from the current company to Medicare, and then letting you, the American taxpayer, pick up the cost.
Well, we pay taxes too. That's why
that's true. Yeah. We have been paying.
In fact, we still pay quite a bit in tax.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
Anyway, that's the choice we made by deciding not to become a 501c3.
Yep.
So, and by the way, if you are kind enough to support us, do understand that those donations are not tax deductible. We put that notice, try to make it very clear at gilberthouse.org/donate. But there are reasons for that. There are legal requirements that you have to adhere to be a 501c3. I'm aware of those, not intimately familiar, but aware enough of those through serving on the board of Skywatch TV that I know that I don't want to have to go through that. For us, it's not the lack of oversight or anything like that. It's also the government then. What the government giveth, the government can taketh away.
Exactly. We're going to do this favor for you, and one day I may come to you, and that day may never come. Yeah, although the IRS has been directed by President Trump not to enforce the longstanding requirement that if you're a 501c3, you avoid any and all political discussion. We don't want the government telling us what we can and cannot say. Exactly. That's the main reason for choosing not to be about 501c3. That is it, because we prayed about it, we talked to, we discussed it, but no. Yeah. We don't want it. Could have saved a lot of money on the taxes, but frankly, a lot of that would have been eaten up with legal fees to make sure we stayed within the legal boundaries. It's just not worth it to try to save on the taxes. No. So anyway, I'll be shifting insurance, I'm sure, come January over to Medicare, but the treatments should, within the first couple of months, begin to reverse the symptoms I've been dealing with, and that is a blessing. So hopefully by next October, when we go back to Israel, I know, I should be in better shape. October 24th through November 3rd, I believe. I'm going to look it up now because I actually just changed it and updated the website to correct the dates. Go to gilberthouse.org/travel. Yes, October 24th through November 3rd. And the link to Lipkin Tours has been updated as well. They've got a new page there for our tour next fall. And that should, we pray, give time for whatever hostilities are ongoing between Israel and Iran to have been resolved. And for all of the areas that we want to see to be now open to tourists, including those areas in the north that are still having to watch for drones coming from Hezbollah periodically. All of that hopefully will be passed, and then we can introduce you to our favorite bus driver in the world, Eliko. Oh, Big Boss. The Big Boss. Yes, you have problem, you see me, I Big Boss. Like, okay. And he's a big guy. He definitely does look like the Big Boss, but he's got a heart even bigger. Oh. Love him so much. See him with the picture. We've stayed in touch. See a picture of him with his new granddaughter. Yeah. And it was amazing. So anyway, we'll take you to places that many other tours will not. And, you get a complete list at gilberthouse.org/travel.
So,
by the way, follow us on Substack. I mentioned that a few minutes ago. I'm SharonKGilbert.substack.com. It's SharonKGilbert, SharonKGilbert.substack.com. And you are
GilbertHouse.substack.com, which has all of our content, including free excerpts from our nonfiction books.
And free from my Blood Lies, book one of the Red Wing Saga. So I've been putting fiction, plus comments on things like I shared some updates about Marburg breaking out in addition to Ebola in Uganda.
Yep. So all of those available for, and although there are opportunities if you choose, you can donate through Substack, but none of our content on Substack is behind a paywall.
No.
Also going to be putting some new content up at YouTube this week. We've got our series that we did for Unraveling Revelation on the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse that has been offline for a while, and those will be uploaded to YouTube this coming week. Also have to get our travel augumentaries up there to YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't done that yet. So you'll find that at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@GilbertHouse. Please subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit the like button, and
Hype, if you got hype points left over.
Yes.
I always use up mine so fast.
One other bit of good news that we need to pass along for people who contributed to the medical bills for your niece, Sarah.
Oh, yes. She rang the bell.
Yeah.
She rang the bell. She was given the diagnosis 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I can't remember how long ago, that she had stage 4 cancer.
Yeah.
And it was out of the blue. She had been getting surgery for another condition, and she was told, and by the way, you have stage 4 cancer. So she had to have part of her colon removed, and she's been undergoing treatment ever since, and she got to ring that bell. She didn't think she would live long enough to ring the bell.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty serious. And we've had a link at our website for some time now to
and you guys
donate, because her insurance company has been really battling her.
Oh, they've been terrible about paying for things. Not only the treatments, but also because she has a stoma. She has to get certain supplies monthly, and sometimes the insurance company just wouldn't pick it up.
Yeah. She's been continuing to work as a nurse. She works for one of the major pharmacy chains. Mm-hmm. But she's mainly been doing that just to keep her insurance. And sadly, because of the time she's had to take off her treatment, she barely makes anything from her job.
Right.
Her employer, thankfully, has been gracious enough to keep her on, even though she's not able to work as often as she would like, so that she doesn't lose her insurance.
She's amazing, an amazing woman, and you guys have helped her a lot. You have been the wind beneath her wings. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for praying for Sarah. Thank you for many of you who've been sent her notes, and many of you have sent her things through the snail mail. She's let us know. I heard from one of your listeners, and they helped out. They sent a check, and they've said they're praying for me. So thank you for helping her. And please continue to do that. And we just want you to know that we understand that many of you help out despite the fact that you yourself are struggling, perhaps physically, but also financially, emotionally. And we know that the widow's mite is... It honors the Lord so much. So thank you to those who have given sacrificially. And we just want you to know that we pray for you every day. We ask the Lord to pray, to intervene for all those who have asked for his help. We don't know your names always, but we always ask the Lord because he knows your names.
Yeah.
And he will call us by a new name one day. Mm-hmm. Isn't that wonderful?
So again, thank you. And if you're still able to help, I mean, she's still got a lot of backlog of bills.
She does, a big backlog.
Yeah. And the link, the banner will stay up on the top of our website, gilberthouse.org, for a while there. So just click that banner. That'll take you to the page with information on how you can donate and help
Thank you.
Sarah Sackleben and her family. It's been one thing after another.
I know they've all had health issues. There are a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
Like we've said before, she's trying to run a farm, run a household,
Yeah.
be a good nurse, be a good mom, be a good wife, be a good daughter to her mom, my sister Debbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. And oh, by the way, my niece Liz, many of you follow Liz Broaddus, she and her husband Steve. They have expanded their church site. She released a video of her emerging from the knocked down wall between the old and the new part of the building, and my sister Debbie said that she looked like the Kool-Aid Man coming out.
Coming through. Oh yeah.
Liz is amazing, and she's now, many of you follow her Coffee and Conversation, and she does that, I think, at least once a week, if not more often.
Coffee and encouragement?
Coffee and encouragement. Yes, sorry. Coffee and encouragement. Well, she's got T-shirts for that now. So you can help to support their ministry by ordering a T-shirt. So just go to Liz Broaddus online. I've shared the stuff at Facebook. Just follow Liz Broaddus on Facebook, and you'll see all of her posts.
And that's double D, B-R-O-A-D-D.
B-R-O-A-D-U-S.
Just
Broaddus.
Just one D? Not
one
two
D.
Ds?
No, it's just one.
Okay.
B-R-O-A-D-U-S.
Okay. Well,
Pretty sure about that.
I'm going to have to look that up, because if that's the case, then I've been spelling it wrong in my head for a long time.
I think it's just
Anyway.
one.
Well, tomorrow morning we're back with our Gilbert House Fellowship Bible study. Tomorrow evening, we talk Bigfoot.
Oh,
On the View from the Bunker.
Bigfoot.
Yeah. Brian Sawyer, who was a guest on the program 6 years ago, he's a SAG-AFTRA union actor, carries his card. He actually, after the last time I talked to him back in 2020 during COVID, he was cast in a role as the partner of John Hamm in a detective movie. He said, yeah, they cut a lot of my stuff out of the film, but, I'm still in there. You can still see me and hear my voice once or twice. But he had the opportunity to get involved in a production about cryptids. And so he decided to hone his directorial skills. He'd read that the director, Steven Soderbergh, had shot an entire film using the iPhone 12.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the iPhone that we've got.
It is.
Yeah. David Heavner is using iPhones now for a lot of his filming. He said, it's great. You can get it, like when you've got a scene where a guy's got to go to like a tunnel or something. Now you don't have to try to get one of those big black magic cameras down in there. You just got an iPhone on a selfie stick. So he took this and started production on a series called Bigfoots of Michigan. Because apparently there are Sasquatch in Michigan, the thumb of Michigan.
Oh, that's interesting.
Port Huron and that area around there.
That's interesting.
So Brian talks about that and gets into and looking at them from a Christian perspective.
We had one in the Madison, Indiana area. One that was talked about allegedly near the old Boy Scout camp, which is between Madison and DuPont.
Okay, I know where that's at. Yeah. Well, I know, and I've talked with Jason Offit, who was I don't know if he's still teaching at Northwest Missouri State, but he was at the time, had written a book about cryptids in Missouri, and Momo the Monster up in northeast Missouri, up towards, Mark Twain's old area, Hannibal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, up there, up that direction.
Yeah.
So anyway, apparently this is a thing. And how do we process this as Christians?
Yeah, good question.
So
Sounds
that's
like
tomorrow night on A View from the Bunker.
That's fascinating.
He shared some pictures and some of the footprint. I don't know what size shoe Brian wears, but this footprint that he had next to his bare foot in the photo is considerably bigger than Brian's. So, it'll be interesting to watch.
By the way, I looked it up. It is Broadus.
Well,
Liz Hewitt Broadus.
you should. I'm conflating him with the guy. There's an author I met whose name was Maurice Broadus.
I've seen it spelled with double
Yeah,
D's.
with a
but
double
yeah,
D. So
yeah.
my mistake. Ignore what I said. Strike that from the record.
Just follow me on Facebook and you'll see my shares of her stuff.
That's it. Until next time, I'm Derek Gilbert.
I am Sharon Gilbert. We love you guys so very, very much, and Jesus loves you too. Bye-bye, everybody.
PID radio is on the air. Politics, prophecies, and conspiracy. Peering into darkness is what we do. Derek and Sharon.